Part 9. Waking Up to Your Universe. Chapter 39. Becoming the Vessel. Way back in the 1980s, during my trip to Alton Towers as a young man, I discovered that observing the world from a distance was a rather attractive pastime for me. I would climb the castle and observe the view. I would take to the cable cars and look down and observe the view. I would take to the boats and row out into the middle of the boating lake and observe everybody milling around in their own world. No two people saw that amusement park in the same way, and when I asked my mum to take me into the gardens so that I could observe the view, she was taken aback and asked me why I didn't want to go onto the latest thrill rides. I said I was perfectly happy with everybody else doing that. I wanted to do my thing. In philosophy, they call this being the observer. And part of being the observer is to realize there are worlds within worlds. The cosmic universe is a world unto itself. The planet is a world that we emerge out of every morning when we emerge out of our home, which is another world, into itself. The TV is a world. The cinema is a world. It is an all-absorbing, all-encompassing place in which we inhabit and we block out all other sounds. When people daydream and say, "Sorry, I was in my own world there," that means they were completely unaware of the sounds and the sights around them, and they were lost inside another place. These places, these worlds within worlds, make up our universe. And to help us understand this, we will return to the world of the imagination. Imagine for a moment that we are a spaceship in space. This vessel we are made up of is us, and inside that spaceship we have a commander, a brain which takes care of things. We also have a computer which navigates us around, and we also have thrust and drive which propels us in new directions. In the universe, there is no up, down, left and right. There is full 360-degree flight. That means we can move anywhere at any speed. In this universe, we find other vessels busily flying around, doing their own thing. And in the morning, we set off from wherever it is we call home, and we make our general orbit through our family, our work colleagues, our friends, and finally we orbit all the way home again. The orbit of your world may be relatively small, and you may only orbit the same hometown for many years. Or your orbit might be large, and you may encompass a wide area of the universe before you eventually return home. During our daily flight, we will find blocks which we must fly under, and to get around, we must get through those blocks to find our way to the other side, and then those things are through. Those things are over. We can get by the easy way or the hard way. We have missiles and we can fire those missiles to blow things up, and we have a net. We can drag those things with us for the rest of our lives. We also have a defense mechanism, and our craft can attack any other vessel and lay into those and cause damage, sometimes permanent damage that never gets repaired and never goes away. We have a shield, and we can rebuff things and let things slide, but if that shield is worn down, then we may let things get to us and they may batter us around. Your inbuilt flight navigation computer must be programmed every stage with new input, and that is your sensibilities and your morals in life. Your flight navigator will guide you around things which are unnecessary to get involved with, and it will take you down roads which you'd rather not go down, but that's the way you have to go. During our everyday orbit of the universe, we can also land on various planets and bodies, and planet home, planet TV, planet cinema, planet cars, planet sports, planet F1, planet whatever. There are planet stars and planet celebrities. There is planet hype and planet gossip. If we land on one of those planets, then we will find other people who like to dwell on those planets, and for a time we can be with them in their world. Some of these may be fast and exciting. Planet wine bar, planet club, planet ski resort. Some of these planets have hype and beauty all of their own, while some of those planets look great from the outside, but in the middle it's pretty shabby. planet alcohol, planet drugs, planet sex life. Yes, all these things can be visited given enough navigation power, and all these things may be great or they may not be, depending on how you find them. Certainly it is us who turn those things into great things or useless things, depending on how we interact. And if we enjoy ourselves, then we are halfway there, because no one can enjoy that for us. We can land on those planets and orbit those planets for as long as we like, but these are just distractions from the rest of the wonders of the universe. Planets in themselves aren't everything, and those major bodies in life, those major goals, planet work and planet home, aren't necessarily the places where you feel at your most ease, and sometimes you have to get out of those places and fly somewhere else. Sometimes we may fly through nebula, things which do not appear solid, and yet we can fly straight through, things that we can materialize maybe later on. The nebula of a hope, the nebula of a dream, the nebula of a baby. Certain things take time to develop, and sometimes you may wander into those and discover some things that you didn't know before, but we can shape those and form those things into anything we like, and there is certainly nothing fixed about a nebula. We can turn a nebula into a planet itself if that thing is existent long enough, and we throw enough energy and time into that thing, and we orbit that thing long enough, then that thing will coalesce into something solid. There are stars beyond us. There are inspirational lights just over the horizon, which are so far away, and yet we can still see their light from where we are. That light has travelled a long distance, and those stars themselves may have faded and died many, many years ago, and yet that light is still flowing in our general direction, and all we have to do is to look and to appreciate. There is a vast space in between everything which exists in the universe, and yet we can see things from far off, and we can communicate with things from very far away, instantly. We can go anywhere, we can see anything, we can build anything, we can destroy anything. We can fly around any obstacle in any fashion, we can interact with any vessel in any way. We can orbit certain vessels for a few days or a few months. We may orbit certain planets for a few years or even a lifetime. We may go on a daily tour around the universe and find it very boring, and we may fly around the universe at high speed, finding everything very overwhelming. The speed at which we fly around the universe is up to us, and so the rate at which we experience the universe is up to us. At any moment, anything could happen, and you may be placed in any kind of situation, because the universe is chaos. And so outside of our immediate vicinity, outside of our craft, we have virtually no impact on things which are beyond our control. The vast universe is so vast that it is way beyond our control. But at the same time, we realize that we can influence things to a lesser or a greater degree, and sometimes the smallest body can cause a chain reaction which actually moves mountains and shifts planets. So even the small guy is very powerful, and the very powerful guy is very small. We are all in the same universe together, and we each have a powerful ally, and that is freedom. We can interact with that universe and intermingle with the aspects of that universe, and sometimes we may bump into something which changes our entire life. We may find a craft which directs us into another way. You may travel in a school of vessels and experience the universe together. The point to remember for a philosopher is, yes, there is freedom in chaos, and yes, there is chaos in freedom. So sometimes you can get what you want, and sometimes you can't, and sometimes the thing that you do get is actually better than the thing which you would have got. Sometimes the third time is lucky, and sometimes the fourth option is the best. If many people are attacking the same situations from different angles, sometimes opposite angles, then they will have opposite views. And unless you turn those guys around, or you're open and flexible enough to go with those guys for a while, then things will get stuck. The trick is the third way, the philosopher's way, and that is to stand back and appreciate everybody's views, and to note everybody's directions and their own velocities and their own impacts in life, and to weigh and consider. There is no point being too close to the object or being too close to a situation, because being too close means you can't see beyond your own horizon, and that limits experience, and that limits your own personal growth. So having those eyes and ears open to experience the universe means the philosopher can gain perspective. And if you can gain perspective in life, then you have the situation in the bag. Chapter 40. Alien Encounters. Becoming the Alien is a meditation I discovered in a Jill Edwards book. The process can be very deep and very interesting, particularly if you do this outside in a meditation. And I'd certainly recommend going out there in the fields, in the sunshine, or on a day where you can get wrapped up warm and go out there and experience this in nature. Imagine you are an alien travelling through the sky, having visited this planet for the very first time. As you emerge onto the planet's surface, you sit a while and experience the wonders of this new planet, the air which rushes around, the light which dances in the sky, and all the colours which inhabit the ground. As an alien, you have no idea what terminology things are called. In fact, as you look around, you have no idea that people on Earth call grass grass and trees trees. So as an alien, you are unaccustomed to all those labels, and even the fact that the grass is green is unknown to you, and colours in this case do not matter. Your mind is completely clear, completely empty of colours and labels and attachments and references to things. In fact, your mind is so clear that all the awareness in your head is directed towards what you can see, what you can taste, what you can feel, and what you can hear. You stop for a moment and just listen to all the chaos in the universe which is happening around you. Just letting things blow in and through your mind and out the other side. You begin to breathe very slowly. You begin to take things very gently. And as you gently move your hand over the grass, you feel that grass for the very, very first time, and also the very last time. That grass is unique, made of unique bodies, and next year that grass will be completely different, or it may not be there at all. You take a moment to analyse that, and you smell that, and you gaze down into the grass and notice lots of little bugs making their home. If you see a tree, you do not associate that with being a tree, or an oak tree, or an old bent dashed oak tree. You will simply see that as a living thing. Taking a look around for a moment, you imagine what it is like to rub your hand against that tree. You imagine what that tree would smell like. You imagine what the bark and the leaves would taste like. You imagine what that tree sounds like, and you imagine what that tree looks like very, very closely. Then you may rise and walk over to that tree, and you may do those things. Does the tree feel exactly the way you imagined it would do? Does the tree taste the way that you thought it would taste? Does the tree smell exactly the way you imagined it would smell? And does the tree look at a close level exactly as you thought it would look? You turn and discover a bramble bush. Imagine what that would be like to feel. Imagine what the berry would be like to taste. Imagine what that thing looks like at a very high degree. And then walk over there, and you do feel that bush, and you do get pricked by the spines. And did that prick feel as bad or not as bad as you imagined? Did the berry taste as sweet or stronger or more bitter than you imagined it would do? You then move around your space, imagining what things would feel like and then feeling those, imagining what things would actually taste like and tasting those, taking a moment to gaze and to listen and to really appreciate things for what they actually are. Amazingly, not a single imagination came true. Every time you imagined something, it was either more sweet or more bitter, more soft or stronger, more gentle or harsher than you imagined it would be, and you didn't get one taste, one sight, one sound, one flavour exactly right, because the imagination is fallible. That's right. The more we gaze at a daffodil and taste that daffodil and smell that daffodil, the more we realise our imagination was not quite good enough to tell us what that item was before we actually investigated that item, and so whatever we imagined was actually inaccurate. If we use our imagination to analyse anything from distance, then it will be inaccurate. And it's only through direct experience that the body and the brain can actually get the right feedback to come to the right conclusions. We can cast aspersions on other people, we can make up stories, we can say that people always do this because, we can say the world is like this because. But when we take our aspirations out of the picture, we may realise that our imagination can actually be very far from the truth. For this reason, a philosopher may say to a person, how about, and what about this, and is it possible, rather than saying is, always, and never. They may say, can you tell me, instead of you did, because then it allows the other person to tell the story, and we do not put words in their mouths. 9 times out of 10, if we put words in another's mouth, we will be wrong, because we are trying to prejudge and we are trying to live their lives and walk a mile in their shoes. Unfortunately, we cannot. Even if we are married to those people for 90 years, we cannot walk a mile in another man's shoes, so that is just not possible. If we make up stuff, then we create that stuff for ourselves and we create that in our world. But stuff in the imagination is not real. It is not real stuff, it is just stuff that we've made up. And sometimes we are right, and sometimes we like to be right and to tell others that we really know our stuff, and sometimes we are wrong. As we have seen already, being right and wrong to a philosopher does not matter. The fact that a tree is an oak tree does not matter. The fact that it is labelled a tree at all does not matter, because that will be named differently in different languages and it will have different representations to different people. So it really doesn't matter about labels as long as we can appreciate that that thing exists. And if we can get to the facts, then we may get to the truth. And the truth is the only thing which does exist. It is important for a philosopher not to take on everything that they see and feel and everything that they touch and smell as the truth, because even those things can lie. In fact, nothing in life is certain. All we can do is to experience those things directly and feel how they change within our fingers. Yes, we can mould things into anything we like, so prejudging things and determining things will reveal a self-fulfilling prophecy, while leaving things as they are and touching and feeling that thing like a blind man will actually give you more of an insight into how things really are. To the alien, life is a mystery. It is open and it is endless. An alien is not cocky, because as soon as they learn one thing, they realise there is a vast amount more to learn. In fact, wisdom could be likened to trees in a forest. In the forest of baking, every single tree is a recipe. And you may investigate that recipe until your heart's content, until you know the entire forest. But there is still another forest of recipes and trees to go. You may investigate the forest of driving, and some of those trees will investigate the art of fixing a car, repairing a car, and driving that car fast. The forest is actually huge, and there's more to cars, an infinite more to cars than just the one thing. There are forests of knowledge on every subject you can imagine, from astronomy to astrology to farming and agriculture to medicine, and you can explore any tree to your heart's content, exploring those branches of knowledge and those leaves of wisdom. You may cultivate a vast forest of knowledge inside your brain, inside your mind, or you may decide not to bother. The important thing to remember is those are the product of your design and you put them there. So you can stimulate those trees and to follow your heart's desires in those areas, or you can neglect those trees and they will slowly wither away. The important point for a philosopher is to realize that those are impermanent. They are living, growing, versatile beings, and the tree of knowledge concerning everything which has existed is certainly a living, thriving creation, which grows with every person that tends that tree and plants more seeds around it. Our minds are a living, organic creation in the same manner, and our lives are also a living, organic creation, unique to us. If we become the alien and we notice the things and those little changes from day to day which do change in life, then we may realize that life is pretty incredible. Chapter 41. The Little Things That Matter. Life happens on a big scale and a small scale every day. And getting in touch with the nature and the beauty of life may just help us appreciate life with a little more respect. Because respect in life is the thing which most people say is most lacking in the world today, and general respect would certainly help many of the world's problems. If everybody went around respecting everybody else, then some say there would not be any more problems in the world, and everybody could live in harmony together. If the world is your teacher, then you have every right to respect everybody within that world, because everybody could show you at any moment the error of your ways or the light at the end of the tunnel. So if we can appreciate that, maybe we can appreciate others as our teachers, and we may have full respect for everything which happens in our lives, for good or for bad, for angry and for harm, or for love and for peace, because everything which happens is there to be respected. If you respect another, then that also shows that you trust them. And certainly if you trust another, then they may be more open to speaking to you and to trusting you with their innermost thoughts and feelings. Trust is another little thing that really matters, and trust in life is something which isn't easy to some people, and yet to others who may go around feeling pretty innocent in life, it comes pretty naturally. Trust is something which is very fragile, and it can be dented and harmed very easily. So respecting your level of trust over another is just as important as having trust and respect in itself. Self-respect is gained by measuring our trust in ourselves. And if we do not trust ourselves and we do not respect ourselves, then we do not get self-respect. We cannot expect others to give us this. We must generate this for ourselves. If we have trust and respect, then that might naturally lead on to appreciation. And a measure of appreciation always goes a long way in life, and it might be a small measure and an insignificant token of appreciation, but any small measure is still appreciated. Appreciating things in life keeps them around longer, and the more you appreciate things, the more you will take care of things, and the more they will inhabit your life. If you do not appreciate things, then they will antagonize you until they become no longer a part of your life, and you will leave those behind. Appreciation for everything in life, good or bad, right or wrong, is the philosopher's course, and if you want to become a philosopher, then appreciating life itself, the bare fact that you are alive, means that you can appreciate everything else within it. By far the biggest little thing of all is personal security. Security in life is something that many people aim for through money and partnerships and relationships and job satisfaction. But security is another one of those elusive things which you either give to yourself or you don't. You can feel secure in an insecure marriage, and you can feel secure in an insecure position. It all depends on your point of view. Sometimes if you have the right partner, then everything else can be taken care of. If you have security in a child, then everything else can be taken care of. Or if you find security in money, then at least everything else can be taken care of. Security is an elusive factor which baffles many people, and security in the wrong places leads to insecurity, especially if that security is found in drugs or on the bottom of a bottle. You may find security among friends, and you may find security going out of an evening and dancing to the music. Or sometimes other people may find security being indoors, simply relaxing and watching TV. Wherever your security lies, make sure that that is an aspect which is taken care of in your life, and make space for that, because you can always make space for anything. So taking time out to help us feel secure is always a very productive application in life. Through security comes reassurance, and reassurance is the aim of many people's lives. They think if they have reassurance and they are reassured that they are actually decent human beings, they are loved and they are lovable, they are all right, they are not wrong, then sometimes that can be all a person needs to live life fulfilled and happy. One of the many psychological blocks that many face in life is the attitude that they are not good enough, and that they have never been good enough in life. If they can find security, then maybe they can find a reassurance that they are actually good enough, and that other people actually regard them as being good enough, and therefore they can relax and settle down. The final little thing that really matters is peace. And perhaps if you respect others and trust others, appreciate everything which is around, then we may find security in amongst that, which leads to reassurance and peace. Perhaps peace and having a peaceful state of mind is something that many people work towards through meditation and relaxation, and having a peaceful life certainly creates less stress and less wear and tear on the body. Peace doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to be really quiet and really calm to really be appreciated. You could have peace on a boat in the middle of the ocean, you could have peace on a beach, you could have peace on the top of the highest mountain, or you could have peace walking down a busy main road. Peace does not necessarily mean quiet, it means an inner attitude of calm. As we have seen, in order to be carefree, first we must be free of cares. And so if we take care of things and don't worry too much about labels or seeing things as absolute, right or wrong, then we can take care of life and we can live in less stressful peace. Caring in life is perhaps the first element, the first seed which may spawn the rest, because it is only after we care that we may learn to generate respect and the other things may follow. If we don't care, then we do not generate respect, and none of the other things will follow. As strange as it may seem, it is only by caring would we ever manage to get to the opposite of caring, which is contentment. That is, being at ease with everything just as it is, and just as it is not. Contentment is the aim of many people's lives. But to my mind, unless the person has respect, trust, appreciation, security, reassurance and peace, then they could not hope to get complete contentment, because there will always be something which they are not content about. Contentment is often the art of letting things blow through, like the wind and the rain. Not letting things linger in the mind too long means that they do not build up and become storm clouds and fire flashes of lightning which stimulates the mind. Instead, contentment is the way to let things go and to relax, not to be careless, but to be carefree. It also helps to count your blessings. Yes, the small things, the little things which are blessings in life, the things which make you happy, and the things which make life bearable and worth living. If you count your blessings in life and compare your life to an alien who may not have any of those things, then you may find that you actually have abundance in life and more than you need. The way to contentment is to appreciate that you have actually more than you need, and in fact bountiful amounts of everything that you ever needed, and you got exactly what you wanted by asking for things in life, however temporary they may be. For this reason, it is important to really appreciate those things while you have them before they disappear for good. Chapter 42. Becoming a Great Guy. The most fragile thing in life is life itself, and if you died tomorrow, then you would leave all the things that you've accumulated behind, and those things would not matter anymore. What happens to your memory? Well, that may disappear or that may linger on in some other dimension, but the important thing is that your memory will live on in the minds of the people which you leave behind. For this reason, it is important to always go about your life in a reasonable way, because if you are unreasonable, then people will always remember you as being someone who is unreasonable. If you are someone who is flighty and irresponsible, then that's how you will be remembered. If you are someone who's shy and quiet, then that is how you'll be remembered. Most importantly of all, if you are great and outgoing and you do not harm anybody, you do not cause any misery, and you are there for everybody, then people will remember you as a great guy. It doesn't matter whether you are male or female, you can be a great guy. A great guy is someone who is friendly and open and honest, and someone who respects others and appreciates others, someone who gives security and peace. A great guy is someone who does not harm anybody else deliberately, and they are remembered after they pass away, not particularly for the deeds that they have done or the miracles which they have created in life, but basically they are remembered simply because of how they were as a person. Leading by example in the world is certainly the best way to be. Rather than commanding and domineering others, it opens the door towards appreciation and respect. If a philosopher wishes to become a great guy, then there is some things that they can do to help them along the way. one of which is to observe the 3 pillars of knowledge. Now, there are more than 3 pillars of knowledge, and that catchphrase is just simply used to help you memorize this because it is not hard or complex. But in order to appreciate which direction to go in life, there is 3 avenues in which we can seek to find the way to go. The first is to respect the head, and if the head and the mind comes up with a possibility in the way to go, then that is a great motivation to go there. Secondly, if they respect the feelings of their heart, then their heart may condone or deny that. And if they thirdly trust their gut feeling as well, then that may also decide their possibilities. Before making any decision in life, it is always possible to spend just a little time checking the head, the heart, and the gut. Sometimes the head may say go ahead, but the heart and the gut say no, that is not a great idea. Sometimes the heart and the gut say yes, you must do this, even though the head says no, I really do not want to. If 2 out of the 3 motivational factors give the thumbs up and the okay, then it is okay to climb on board the roller coaster and set off. If 2 out of the 3 say no, it is not okay, then it is probably wiser to avoid that situation or to not bother. Sometimes the person may convince themselves that the head is right and they may ignore the other 2, and sometimes if the person is addicted to a certain situation, they may overrule the heart and the gut and just go ahead and do what they feel like anyway. It is important to realize who's the boss, and if you are the boss in your life, then it is your final decision what happens in your life, no matter what the head, the heart and the gut say. If you do not want to go down a certain road, or if you do, then you can overrule any of those things and to live your life however you like. The power is in your hands, and as a great guy, you must realize that that power could be used to harm or to influence, to destroy things and break things apart, or to mend things and to bring things together. A great guy also knows when to leave things alone, and sometimes butting out of other people's personal business and simply letting the world turn is the best place to be. The point is to adjust your morals and standards so that you always become fair, even if that means you appear unfair to others. It is being the commander, it is being an ally, someone who cares little about personal gain, because at the end of the day, the only thing to be gained is a little respect and a little trust. If we don't care about anybody or anything in life, then no one can be expected to care about us. And so we can choose our own future just by changing and shaping who we are right now.